Hi all, welcome to the channel Cloud Knowledge. Today in this video, we'll study about Stringify transformation in mapping data flow activity in ADF. So for this purpose, let's first go to the official documentation page by Microsoft. Here is the page. So this transformation states that it is used to turn complex data types into strings. Okay, this can be very useful when you need to store or send column data as a single string entity that may originate as a structure, map, or array type. So in order to understand this statement, let's go to the sample dataset, which I'll be demonstrating in this video. So here's the input dataset, which is a JSON document, and the output is like this. So we'll read the statement one by one. Here is the same statement taken from the link. It states that it is used to turn complex data types to strings. So here in our JSON, you can see that it is having the data like the columns as code name, hometown, parse, and parse is again an array which is having like 3 values. And members, in members we have again like name 1, name 2, name 3. Okay, it is subdivided. Okay, so what we need to do is that in this case we have this members as a complex data type. Okay, and we want to convert it into string in the sense string as a single string entity. This can be very useful when you need to store or send column data as a single string entity. Single string entity we need to emphasize. So if we go to the output data set, it will be like the first column is as a code name. Okay, hometown, metro city. Powers is having 3 values, so we'll club them together and display here as is. And then comes another output, members output. You can name it as member. Here I've renamed it to output. We can name it as per our convenience, as per our choice we can name it. So here you can see that the data is as a single string entity, name, molecule, man, then name 2, name 3. Okay, so it is useful to convert this complex data type as a single string entity. If this would not have been the case, then what would happen is that code name, hometown, powers will be there, and then the third column will be like name 1. It will display like molecule, man, and then comes the next column name 2 and further. Okay, it would have displayed like that. So that way we want it as a single entity, single string entity. So we have this Stringify transformation. So in order to implement the same in Data Factory, we'll go to the ADF inside the auto tab, and we'll create, let's say, our data flow first. We'll name it as data flow for Stringify. Yeah, and then we'll fetch the source. So the source is already present as a JSON file in my storage account. I've kept it beforehand, so it is like stringify.json. It's inside my block container, inside the ADF container in folder. It is lying here, the same JSON, okay, which I showed here. So this is the data, and then what we do is we'll attach to the data set here. So let's add the source. The source here is that JSON file. So let's browse. So here among these options, it will be JSON. Continue. Let's name it as JSON Stringify input. Length service is already there, and we need to browse to the file location. It is inside ADF container, inside the input folder as a stringify.json. Click OK, and then click OK. We're done. Now, if we I'll tell about the settings later. Let's now go to the data preview and refresh. Yeah, So the data flow debug option is already enabled, so we can preview the data. Here we are getting error, malform records are detected in schema inference. Okay, so next we go to the projection tab and we'll import the projection. Let's import the projection. Oh, so this is not displaying the projection. Okay, so let's go to the source setting. Sorry, so let's go to the source options. Here we have JSON settings. Okay, and here the document form is by default selected as document per line, but here in our case it is not document per line, it is an array of documents. Okay, like this. So we'll select array of documents here, and then we'll again go to the projection tab, and then we'll import the projection. This time the projection appeared. So we have the columns as hometown, squad name, powers, and members. The types are displayed. This is string, this is string, this is string. Only the members is complex type where it is subdivided. Okay, so here we could see the types. Now we'll go to the data preview and again click on refresh. This time it will not show the malformed records error, and it will try and it will show the records. So here we can see the values. Squad name is here, then powers, okay, members, hometown. The alignment here doesn't look good. So if you don't find it right here, or if you're confused, then here is an option to export it to CSV. Let's export to CSV. Let's click on it. And then here is the data. So how's the data stored here? Hometown, okay, and then the complex type is stored as name1, name2, name3, which I said in explaining the data set. Then powers, and then comes the squad name. Okay, so it is displayed like this. Okay, so let's go back. So here the column members is displayed as name1, name2, name3. Now let's go back, and now what we'll do is we'll click on the plus sign and we'll try to attach Stringify. So Stringify lies under the formatters section as Stringify name. Okay, so here is Stringify, we'll name it as just Stringify, and then format is JSON. Our input file is JSON, so we'll let it be. Then here in the expression builder, what column we need to format. So in our case, the format, the column to be format is this members column, which is the complex column, which is displayed as 3 different columns, which we want it as a single string entity. So for this purpose, what we will do is we will go to the Stringify, and then from the drop down we'll select the members column. Okay, we can leave it as members also, or in our case we can rename it. Okay, so we can name it as output. Okay, and then in the expression we'll go and we'll select the members, the complex data type in the expression. Okay, so once we select members here, we have to save and finish. Okay, this is done. Now we'll go to the data preview tab and we'll try to refresh and see the data. So here again the alignment looks not okay, so we can export it to CSV and then we'll try to preview the data. So let's extend it. So here you can see along with those columns we have a extra column called output. Okay, so this extra column will store the data of the data which is coming here as 3 different columns into a single string entity. So we have created this column with the use of Stringify transformation. Here you can see that BCD is also displayed, which is now not required since we are clubbing this data together and displaying over here. Okay, So we will omit these 3 columns, and in order to omit columns, to remove columns or add columns, what we can do is we can use select. Okay, select transformation, for which there is already a video in my channel. You can view that. So let's go back to the PDF, and here we will add select. So it's under the schema modifier section. We'll click on select, and here those 3 columns which were coming from the members complex type, we don't want it now. So here this particular row we will delete, okay, because we have the output already there. So we'll delete it here. Okay, and now we'll go to the inspect section, and now here we can see that the outputs are string, string, and now this newly generated output column is complex. So we can now go to the output, and we can attach the sync here. So here we have attached the sync, and now we will take it to a CSV. Okay, we want the output to be loaded into a CSV. So we'll click here at the dataset. We'll take it to the Gen2 account as a delimited CSV text. So selected that. Now we'll write the output as Stringify. Output, then storage Gen2, then to the output location. So we have selected the output folder. Click OK. Then put schema none. First row should have header. Then click OK. Now in the data preview, you can, oh, it's having errors. Let's go. It is saying that please remove the columns. Okay, this is very important. When you do the Stringify transformation, you should know this error will come, and I let the error come because I wanted to show that you will also face this during your work with the Stringify transformation. So what the error says is, the following columns have a complex structure. It can only be written to Snowflake, REST, ORC, JSON, Arrow, or Cosmos DB. Okay, please remove the column or update the sync to these. So we'll close it. What happens is that if we go back to the select, what happens in the inspect, if we'll go, we can see that it is having all string, but here in the output we have this complex type, right, which we are going to store. So in the CSV, as we all know, in CSV all the columns should be string type. So we need to convert this output column, which is complex type, to string type. So for conversion, we have to use the derived column transformation, which I've already given a video on. Okay, so you can refer that video, or you can refer to the Microsoft documentation page, how to use the derived column transformation in detail. So here, just after select, we will add that derived column transformation, which is again a schema modifier. So we'll click here. Okay, so the column which we need to change is this output. Okay, so here we'll select from the drop down output column. Okay, and we'll go to the expression. We have to convert it to string. So in the expression, we have this toString function. We'll click on it. What value we need to convert? So it is output. The rest of the things we don't need it. So we'll remove the things and we'll select just toString, our output data type. Okay, so save and finish. Done. Now we'll go to the sync. So we'll refresh in the data preview at the sync level. So here all 4 columns are coming as expected. Now in the settings, we want to name the file. So we'll name the file output to single file, which will enable the single partition. Click here, output to single file. What will be the name of the file? We want the name of the file to be Stringify output .csv, because it's a CSV. That's why CSV. Now we have performed all the required settings. We have removed the error. For removal of that error, we have used the derived column, where we have converted the complex type to the string type, and where we have used the select transformation, so that we will remove the extra columns which are coming from the Stringify. Okay, so we have used these many transformations here. Now we will publish the changes, validate. Now we'll make a pipeline. So let's create a new pipeline. We'll name the pipeline as pipeline Stringify. And next we will take our data flow Stringify, take it, drag it here in the pipeline. And now we will validate everything. Again, we'll publish the changes, and then we will perform a debug run. So the debug run is in progress. The debug run completed. Let's go to the output folder inside ADF container. Inside output folder, the name was Stringify output.csv. So click on it. Let's go to the edit, and here we can see hometown, powers, code name, and then output. So hometown was city, then powers was having these three values, code name, okay, and then comes the total string, single list string entity data displayed here. So we got the desired result here. If we go to the data flow, if we go to the sync at the data preview level, here also we can see those 4 columns. If we need to see the columns from here itself, we have this export to CSV option. Let's click here. Let's try to open it. So here comes the output. So hometown, powers, code name, and output. We got all these 4 columns. If we want their position to be different, let's say we want this code name here, the hometown here. So for that purpose, we can do it at the select column level. Okay, so in the select settings, what we can do is we can take this code as first column, then hometown, then powers, and then let's say output. So it is done here. If we go again to the sync level, we can refresh it. The position of the columns we can change through select transformation. So here at the sync level, now code name will come first, hometown, powers, and output. Let's again export to CSV and try to preview the data. So here comes the data, code name, hometown, powers, and then output. For this output, we have the single string entity as we have displayed here. Code name, hometown, powers, and output. So this was what required, and we have achieved the result using the Stringify transformation. So this is how Stringify transformation works. I hope you have got the very basic idea about the usage of Stringify and the errors which can be encountered during the usage, and how to overcome that error. For example, the usage of derived column to convert the complex column to string, then changing the columns position or removing the extra columns. This we can do through select transformation. I hope you have understood this demo, and thank you for watching the video. Happy learning to all. Bye.